It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back and happy Monday to you. Thank you for tuning into your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. Now, we've all heard of the notion of that bridezilla, the dreaded bridezilla, a bride who is so demanding, so stressed out that everyone around her has to be prepared to handle any logistical or relationship problems that may arise. But have you ever thought that that bridezilla might actually be caused by all of the politics and the drama of the family that they all bring together into this occasion? So it's actually like not her fault, it's everyone else's fault for not being organized.
Oh, and then poor woman gets all the blame. So are you getting married and wondering how to keep the peace between the two groups across the aisle from each other? How do you keep everyone happy during the wedding? Well, our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, is in the building to discuss this very hot topic. So please feel free to call us on 021-430-9881 or so she can engage with some of the question and comments that you have. Dr. Eve, good morning. Welcome to the show.
I'm laughing.
Is this a little close to home,
It's
this topic?
so close. I'm wearing my engagement dress. My daughter got engaged 1 month ago.
Congratulations.
So in honor of that, I'm wearing this. And I really need advice. I'm really asking the viewers to phone
So
in.
you're asking for
I'm asking for advice. Please come and tell me what to do. Graham's laughing. I need advice. I've just been through this. I am going through this. It is so surprising.
Okay, how about that? You give us a call and you help us help Dr. Eve, and maybe you can tell us a bit more about exactly what happened, what stressed you out. But like even when it comes to TV shows, some of the ratings go through the roof when there's weddings there. What's the big deal about a wedding that just gets everyone either very excited or very upset or very something?
Riled up.
Emotional, right? There are a lot of emotions that you're associated with. I think it is such a romance that's associated with a wedding. And as you said just now, Leanne, it's like the best day of your life. So already as you start out, you know this has got to be the best day of your life, and you kind of strive for perfection. And where do you go to kind of get an idea of what it is that you want? So what is it that you want? And that's my first bit of advice that I am going to give to viewers, to the brides and brides to be, irrespective of the age. Please know what you want. I really seriously see this wedding day as being symbolic of two people making their step into adulthood and actually making decisions for themselves. And that's very difficult because you've got to negotiate your own decisions together as a couple against the face of family that suddenly arrive in from all over and have their opinion and want to make sure that their opinion, their culture, their traditions, their symbolism, their family politics are deeply embedded in the ceremony that should be only about two people and about what they should be doing going forward.
I'm
And
not
it's
even getting
like
married, but
that.
I already feel
Do you
like
feel
a certain sense of anxiety. Why is there just so much expectation on this day to please everybody, to make sure that you are not stepping on Auntie so-and-so's foot or not inviting so-and-so because so-and-so will be, you know, offended? What is it about weddings that just makes people feel such a heavy sense of expectation?
You know, I think the notion of a wedding is magnificent. I love the ceremony of it. I think it's really important because what it is, it's a, for most people, a religious ceremony, and as we know, it is a communal activity. So it is the community's way of looking at you and saying, we endorse what's happening over here. We are giving you a status which gives you a different status to just living together or being together. And it's very important that people go through that ritual.
Well, when we come back, we'll be engaging you as you call us on 021-430-9881. I want to ask Dr. Eve the question, do we place too much importance on weddings? Not marriage, but weddings. You can tell us, do you think we make it too important such that it stresses us out? We'll be back with Dr. Eve.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Both the ladies are picking their jaws up from the floor, those beautiful dresses. But okay, so I want to start off with the question I left you with last time, Dr. Eve. With all due respect to the fact that, yes, it is an important day and you want people to celebrate, are we as a community and society placing way too much importance on the wedding day and what happens there? I mean, we see the royal wedding and it's at this beautiful cathedral and it's just, it's fairy tale stuff. Have we made unrealistic expectations of ourselves?
There is really interesting research at looking at where did this whole wedding story begin. And it started with Vera Wang, who started with the idea of the dress. And from that evolved an industry which has captured every single woman's imagination. And so this day becomes about money, flowers, venue, things that I don't think are really valuable, Kat. I think that one has to look at what is really valuable. And this is what I say to my daughter, you know, what is really valuable to you? What do you really value? Status, money, flowers, or an experience that you're going to remember. And with people that really matter to you. Otherwise, you're caught in this machine that just kind of drags you along. And then there's the wedding planner. You have to have a wedding planner. Like, why do you have to have a wedding planner? So if you can tell me why, I would like to hear why. So the day becomes the big event, and I think there should be more time spent on looking at the relationship. I always say, you know, if one took the money that one spent on this wedding day and invested it in something that would be beneficial to the couple, whatever it is for them, whether it be a furniture, an overseas trip, things for their baby, something for a house. But nobody does that. Well, few people do that. Why? Because they do want to have that feeling, that experience of just celebration, and they want to do it in the midst of family. But there are ways to do it.
Do you think a lot of us get married for the spectators?
You have to have spectators, Leanne. That's what the purpose of a wedding is. Is that you have to get married, as I said earlier, in a community so that there are witnesses. That's really what a wedding is, so that you are witnessed, forming a union and creating and saying vows and oaths to each other, which almost your community holds you to it. So that also research shows us kind of keeps marriages together, and the more religious you are, the more likely you are to stay in that wedding, in that marriage, because you've had this wedding ceremony, which you've committed yourself to in public.
Exactly, but what I mean by that is, are we getting married more for, you know, to show off the lavishness of what it is that we can put forward in comparison with, you know, your best friend who got married, now yours needs to be better than hers, things like that, as rather than really a celebration of your and my love for one another and committing before God and witnesses, as it should be. Now it's to do better than so-and-so.
And because where does better ever end?
Exactly.
Because there's just like one-upmanship all the time around, I want to have something different to what my best friend had. And so I'm going to, you know, look for a bigger, better venue with more people. I think also that I'm just thinking about different cultures and traditions where there are, the normative would be, you know, 300 people at a wedding, and you have, you know, huge pots of food, and that's perfectly wonderful.
Could we touch on that when we come back, and also how much authority you should give moms and dads and parents in having a say about what happens at your wedding? Give us a call on 0214309881. Even if you are that mom that says, I need to have all the say, you call
Dr.
us.
Eve needs to know.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Monday morning on your Feel Good Breakfast show. A caller's on the line engaging with us on the topic today of the politics and drama around weddings and families across the aisle from each other. Anonymous from Cape Town. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Great to have you on the line. What's your question, comment, or advice?
Well, basically, I just want to say, you know, everyone's just so excited about their wedding day, and you plan this so long in advance, but then actually at the end of the day, there's your plan, and then there's God's plan. I mean, my grand died the day before I got married, so we had our wedding in the morning, and then we had a funeral in the afternoon. So you really just never know what could happen.
So, I mean, what would you say? Would you do it differently because there is a God plan as well? Or did you not enjoy the whole process? I would hope you enjoyed the process of planning, because that's part of the wedding, right?
Yes, definitely. You do enjoy the process. I mean, it's the most exciting time.
So,
But I mean, when the day actually comes, I mean, your expectation and what really does happen, nobody can foresee that.
Yeah, absolutely.
did you struggle to work out the dynamics of whose advice you listened to in terms of both sides of the family? Because that's, you know, where I'm struggling. Help me here.
Okay, well, I think for me, I just basically see these are the people who I have to have, you know, at the wedding.
Yeah.
And then I let my parents just decide who they wanted. So basically, as long as the people I wanted were there, you know, it was really up to them who else they decided to invite.
So I'm going to ask you the question that I know Kat wants to ask me. You know, who paid for the wedding? Where does the power lie?
Well, basically, you know, at the time, like my dad covered most of it, but I mean, I also contributed as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much for that
you.
call.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and thank you for sharing with us as well. We've got another caller on the line as well. People really want to weigh in on this.
Exactly. Muller from Knysna. Good morning. Welcome to Expresso. What is your question, comment, or advice for Dr. Eve?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, I really enjoy your program. I just want to say, when me and my wife got married 2 years ago, it was quite a big thing because you get two families that's coming together,
Yeah.
you know, so you do want to do your own thing, but you must also represent both families, you know, so when you give attention to the one, then the other one feel left out, so that was quite tough. And, you know, and you, even if you really feel this is a good idea or whatever, then you really have to take the emotions of the other one into account, and it was sometimes really tough. So I just wanted to say that, and then the other thing is it must really represent who you are, but you must still stick to some tradition. So yeah, so I'd say to balance that out by doing, you know, mostly what tradition says and so, but also, you know, doing something else. Like for instance, we lit a fire instead of cutting a cake.
Yes.
Because I don't like cake, you know. Yeah, but anyways, that's my advice.
Thank you
Thank
very,
you,
very
Muller.
much. And it's quite important what he says there about the wedding being a representation of yourself at the end of the day. But, you know, like I was asking earlier on, Dr. Eve, if you're... we don't even have time. I'm going to leave you with this question.
Back.
Yeah, we're going to come back to it. What happens if, let's say, the one family has paid the majority of the wedding? Do they have more say about what happens at the wedding than the other? Because just even thinking about that makes you go, whoo. So give us a call on 0214309881.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
All right, yes. Back again with Dr. Eve. Go ahead.
Exactly. We've got another call on the line. I love that everybody's chatting to us. Estelle from Bloemfontein. Good morning. What's your question or comment for Dr. Eve?
Yes, hi, good morning, Expresso team.
Hey.
Hi, Estelle. You can go for
I've
it.
got a comment for Dr. Eve.
Go ahead.
I hope she's not getting married.
No, she hopes you're not getting married. Why do you say that, Estelle? Why?
Because she's dressed in a very, very lovely dress.
It's my daughter's engagement dress that I wore to the engagement, which is why I'm wearing it today, because of our topic. But thank you, Stell. That is very
you,
kind.
Estelle.
Go ahead, Estelle. We're listening. Go ahead.
Dr. Eve,
Yes.
I actually have a comment. Every young couple is allowed to have their own decision making. We're not living in the old age anymore. So parents are not there to make decisions when it comes to couples getting married. Suggestions are more than welcome, and the couple can have time to rethink it. If I don't like it, if I want to have a bride tonight, I want to dress in jeans and a t-shirt.
And that's your wedding, and you're allowed to do so.
Yeah, and if I want to have a barn bride, so, and my parents don't like it, what are you going to do?
Estelle, you know, I'm from Bloemfontein too, so maybe that's why we think the same. I'm absolutely with you on the same page around that. We say that, and in principle, I absolutely agree with that.
Thank you very much for that, Estelle. Question, is this something you should be discussing with, let's say, both families from the beginning? So you've asked for the hand in marriage, or however the process works in your tradition, and it's going to happen, right? To have a formal meeting, perhaps even at that engagement party, to say, guys, we realize you're going to want to have a lot of input in this, but we need to move forward in this manner, realizing that this is our day, we're going to make it happen.
You are so on point. So that's what I did too, Kat. I called a family meeting.
Yes.
Let's be adult about it, because this is blending of families, and there are real, very difficult emotions of sharing and standing back and saying, you know, I wanted my way, and the kids sit on the couch and it's like, what about us? Of course, it has to be about the couple. So the most important thing is to have boundaries. You know, you really, really need to have boundaries, and you need to be able to have complete respect for parents, me included, and be able to say, actually, don't like your idea. You bring up the issue of money and where does the power lie, and that's like a really important thing. And I really do believe that if for a couple who are getting married, especially if you are established and you're a little older, you're earning your money, pay for your wedding yourself. Just get the parents out so that they do not have to have any influence on what happens. If parents want to contribute, that's really cool. But pay for it yourself so you can take complete ownership of it. Even if it's smaller or not as lavish as what your parents might be able to afford, own it. Own your own wedding.
I agree with that, because I do know that once someone gives you money, they have a lot of power in saying what happens in the wedding. But thank you so much, Dr.
It brings that song to mind. It's my party and I can cry if I want to.
Exactly.